Okay, let's do a quick recap. On the other day, what we were discussing about how to download and install Java. I hope everyone have downloaded and installed Java, as well as uh, we have understood the uses of IDE, Eclipse IDE, right? So we have downloaded that as well, and we have also developed a first Java program, right? So by now we got to know what is a class. Class is a collection of methods and objects. We will understand what is object today, right? And we need to understand what is a method, right? What is a method and what is an object. This is left to be understood. These two things will be covered today. So how to write a class? So there are some naming conventions to write a Java class, to name a Java class, right? There are some rules and regulations that you have to follow for naming a Java class. The first thing is you need to follow Pascal case naming convention, right? By now you got to know what is a Pascal case. The first letter should always capitalized, and the first letter of the consecutive word should be capitalized, and there should not be any spaces, and there should not be underscores or hyphens are used, right? So this is how the class name should look like. Okay, when you have two words like student details, so this is how it should look like. Bank account, like employee salary calculator. So these are the typical examples, right? And the rules, when it comes to rules, okay, so we know now what are the rules. Every word starts with the capital. So this is an example. So name cannot start with a number or symbol, so this is not allowed, right? No special characters, except you can use dollar symbol and you can use underscore symbol. Except for these two, you cannot use any other special characters or symbols, and it should represent a meaningful name. Okay, you cannot give a random name. It should be very meaningful to the operation, right? Whenever you're designing a class, the name should be very 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 meaningful, and you cannot use the reserved words. So there are some predefined words in Java, so that cannot be used for the class name. Okay? So there should not be any spaces between two consecutive, right? So we know how to create a first Java project, a project creation. So we have seen these things in actions in the last class, right? And the shortcut, okay, system without control space you get this particular instruction. So this is the first Java program, right? So this is all about the last class, and today the class 4. Okay, please everyone type us in the chat box. We'll complete it soon. Are we good to proceed? Type us in the chat box. Can I get yes from everyone? Only two of them are saying. What about others? Please type yes in the chat box. Everyone, there is there.
My chat is not working.
Okay then. Okay, then we are good to go. Okay, no issues. So introduction to Java method. So now we will understand where exactly the business logic will be used in a Java code. Java methods. Java methods are very very important. So inside Java method, you will define a business logic. First of all, we'll understand what is the purpose of it. First of all, we'll understand what is a method. So by definition, it says a method is a block of code that performs a specific task. Just focus on this line. What does it says? A method is a block of code that performs a specific task, right? And it can be called from other parts of the program, right? The main objective of a Java method is to code reusability and code organization, right? So let me put the syntax in the paint box. So this is the syntax. So this is the syntax of a method. Here you can find so many things. Okay, it says access modifier. Okay, it says return type. Okay, and you have to give a meaningful method name here. It says something like the parameters, right? You have the method body, right? So when you see class, how the class does look like. Okay, you can take a class and you can give a class name, like the name of the class is test, and you have a body, right? I've already said that whatever you want to write, that can be written only in the Java class. If you want to write a method or if you want to develop a method, it can be placed inside a Java class. The method cannot be placed outside a class. It should be inside a Java class. First very, very important thing. Where method should be placed, it should be placed within the class boundary. First thing. Okay. So this is the typical syntax of the Java method. Right. So what is this access modifier? Okay, in Java there are four access modifier which you will come across soon. So you have what? You have public, and you have private, you have protected, you have default. Okay, these are the four access modifiers that you have in Java. What is the purpose? The purpose we will understand. So if anyone is asking you how many access modifier are there, you should be able to answer that there are four access modifiers in Java: public, private, protected, and default. Right? And what is a return type? Okay, so return type, and again return type can be void or it can be any of the primitive data type. Can be any of the primitive data types. Okay, the question is, what is this void, what is this primitive data types? We will understand. So I'm just explaining you about what I'm explaining you. How can we replace this syntax with the meaningful Java code? How we can develop a method? So I am saying this is syntax, right? So when I say access modifier, you can give either one of these four names, like public, private, product, and default. So when I say return type, you can either give it as void or you can give any one of the primitive data types, right? And when it comes to method name, you can give any meaningful name, any meaningful name that follows camel case naming convention. Naming convention. Now the question is, sir, what is camel case naming convention? What is camel case naming convention? Okay, unlike Pascal case naming convention, where the first word should be, first letter of the word should be capitalized, the camel case naming convention is just opposite to that. For example, if you have something like, student details, if you want to represent this name as a method name, you have to follow camel case naming convention, which means the first letter should be the small letter. First letter of the first word should be the small letter, and the first letter of the consecutive word should be capitalized. Making sense? Let me give you another example. Let us say that my calculator function. If we want to convert this to the method name, which follows camel case naming convention, take the first word, first letter of the first word should be in lowercase. Okay, the first letter of the consecutive word should be in the uppercase. Calculator function. You see, you only have to focus on the first letter of the first word should be in lowercase, and the first letter of the remaining consecutive word should be in the uppercase. Are able to understand what is the camel case naming convention? This is how you name a Java method. Type S in the chat box if you are able to follow. Yes, no. You don't make it fast. What about others? Only Ganesh is typing. Are able to understand what is a camel case? Or you want me to repeat? Okay then. Okay. So now we understood what is a method name, right? And parameters. Okay. Parameters. So with the knowledge that we have right now, we do not have to worry about the parameters. The parameters can be left optional. Parameters can be what? It can be left optional. It can be kept empty. And there is a method body. Okay. So let me convert this into an actual method. Let me convert this into an actual method. Let me copy this. Let me convert this to an actual Java method. Okay, in place of access modifier, I can take any one of these access modifier, any one of this. Okay, let me take private here, right? Okay, in place of return type, okay, let me take for now. Let me take it as void. Let me take it as what void. Okay, in place of method name, let me take a meaningful name as learning Java. Okay, I am following the camel case naming convention, the method name. Okay, I'm keeping the these parameters as empty. Okay, I'm not placing anything in this simple brackets. I am leaving it empty. Okay, since it is an optional thing, right? And for every method there should be a body, right? Classes has body, isn't it? So even for the method you need to have a body. So inside this body you will define a method business logic. Let me define like system dot out dot println. Okay, I can say something, some meaningful message. I am learning Java. Learning. And this is the simple method that you can build. Remember this. This is the syntax. So this syntax is getting converted to the reality, which means we are able to build the real Java method from out of the syntax. Right. So this is for access modifier. It can be anything. Okay. I am for the time being. I am keeping it as void, and I will increase the complexity as we go on the in the future topics. And the method name is by like learning Java, the camel case naming convention. So I'm leaving the brackets empty, right? And for every method there should be a body, opening and closing brackets. Inside this I'm keeping the business logic, right? Let us go back to the theory. So what is it says in Java, a method is a block of code. Of course it is a block of code. So I'm talking about this, the block of code. Okay, so the code that is placed inside this block, the code that is placed inside the block, a block of code, okay, that performs a specific task. For now it is just going to print whatever the message that you are placing over there in the system.out.println. So that will be shown in the console, okay, and can be called from other parts of the program. Okay, the main focus should be on this particular word, reusability. I will tell you why it is called as why methods are known for reusability. I will tell you about this. Syntax we have understood now. If you see access modifier, what does it really says? To allow the visibility of the method, right? So when I keep it as private, for example, let us say that, let us assume that my method is currently inside the class by the name of test. Okay. Inside this class I have my method. Inside this class I have built a method, right? When the moment I start, the moment I specify it as the private, I can able to use this method only inside this class, within this class. So this method is very much localized. I cannot use it from outside the class. Private means you are placing some good amount of restriction. It can be used within the class. Okay? We will understand this better in the Eclipse editor. For now, we can use it within the class. Right? So it is talking about the visibility. So return type. So for now, we are placing it as void. There are other return types like integer, string, and all. We will discuss that in the future classes. Method name follows camel case convention. We understood what is a camel case. Parameters. Input passed to the method. For now, we are keeping it empty. Parameters means for now we are keeping it empty. And method body, block of code that defines what the method does. For now, we are keeping it what? Just printing a statement in the console. So we know what is a camel case. Okay? So let me implement this. Okay, this is our Eclipse. So this is our first program. Okay, this was written last Saturday, right? When I want to build a method, so Eclipse is going to give you a very simple option. Just type method here. Just type method, it control space. Okay, so you would come across this particular thing, which is second one, which is you have something like the square in red. small tiny square in red, right? Click here. The method gets generated automatically, right? Just remove this, not required, right? So this is the method. And if you see, this is what access modifier, this is return type. The method name is being the method itself. Let us give a meaningful name. Learning Java. You can give any name. For the simplicity, I am taking the name as learning Java, which is following the camel case naming convention. First letter of the first word is in lowercase, and the first letter of the consecutive word is in uppercase, right? So let me give a simple business logic. I have built my first Java, right? And if I ask you a question, okay, how many methods are there in my class? Can anyone answer this? How many methods do I have in my class? This is my class, first Java program. How many methods are there in my class? Any answers? Okay, 2 methods. Good. Correct. 2 methods. And one more question would be like, okay, so the method that you see here, right? The main method. The main method is the predefined method. What is a predefined method? This method was given by the Java people. You cannot change cannot change anything. This is how the method has to be. Main method means this is how the syntax should be. You cannot change anything. This is given by the Java library. Instead of people, let me say this is given by the Java library. So main method is a method which is acting as an entry point. Okay, it is an entry point. What is a main method? You can simply say that main method is a predefined method. It is there in the Java library. It is going to act as an entry point. Can I say like that? Can we say? Yes, we can say. If anyone is asking, okay, can you tell me something about what is a main method? Okay, the next question. What is a main method? Okay, what should be the answer? Main method in Java is a predefined method, okay, which is available in the Java library, and it acts as the entry point, and all the instructions inside the main method. It's simple answer. What is the main method? This is the main method. This is what the main method is. This is a predefined method. Okay, what is this method? The method that we are creating, the method that the developers are creating, okay, these are called what? User defined methods. So you have defined this. This name has been given by you. This logic has been given by you. User defined. Right? What is the access modifier of this method? Can anyone tell me what is the access modifier of this method? Public. So what is the access modifier of this method? Private. So there is a tiny difference. There is a marginal difference between this public and private. You will understand that. Okay. Now let me say inside my main method I have something like, okay, let me print something. SYSO control space. Okay. Logic inside main. Okay. Now focus here. Okay. Now if I execute this, what will be the output? Can anyone answer? Instead of writing
Logic inside the main.
Yeah, because why this is going to be the output? Because the main method is going to act as an entry point. So definitely all the instructions inside the main method has to get executed. There is only one instruction, which is what? This one. So when I just run this piece of code, you definitely see that my logic inside the main method is going to be shown in the console. But my question is like, I want to execute this method. So how do I print this logic? So this is a business logic which is part of learning Java method. Okay, I want to execute this method. Okay, how I am supposed to do that? In order to execute this method, or in order to execute any user defined method, let me repeat, in order to execute any user defined method, I want to transfer the control from year to year, so that my method is going to get executed. What I can do, I need to create objects. Now the object is coming into the picture. What is an object in Java? Okay, so don't worry about this. In Java, an object is a real world entity that has state and behavior. Okay? Forgot about state, forgot about behavior. Okay, for now let us focus on why do we need to create objects. Question is, why do we need to create object? How to create an object? Okay, let me tell you. Okay, how to create object in Java. Okay, the syntax is going to be like class name. Okay, we have a class name is user find variable name equal to new class name. Okay, so this is the basic syntax to create an object. First of all, let us understand how to create an object. Then we will understand why we have to create an object. Okay, so this is syntax. Syntax says class name. In our example, just replace the class name here. What is a class name in our example? First Java program. Okay, just replace that here. Okay, first Java program. Okay, space. Okay, let me type it down. First Java. So here it says user defined variable, which means the user has an option to give any meaningful name. Okay, so I'm giving my own meaningful name, something like, let me say object. It can be anything. You can give A or you can give B. You can give whatever you want, but make sure it is little bit meaningful. Okay, or else let me say first object equal to. Okay, there is something like new, right? Use the new just like that. Do not have to change anything, and followed by the class name. What is the class name? First Java program. That's it. This is how we create an object. Okay, a simple task. For example, when I say class A, if I want to create an object for the class A, how I can create? Okay, what is the syntax? Use this syntax. By looking at the syntax, you will be able to create. How to create? A obj, any name, any meaningful name you can give. Let me say, let me take the small a in lower letter equal to new. I'm just replacing the syntax with the class name and my variable name. That's it. Apart from that, I'm not doing anything. If you want to create an object for the class B, come on, quickly create an object for the class B. Everyone, create an object for class B. B obj equal to good. Create an object for class C. Yeah, Pawan, correct only, but uh, Java is a case-sensitive programming language. So if it is in capital B, it's supposed to be capital B. So Java is a case-sensitive programming language. Good. Correct. Okay. And end with, always end with the semicolon. Okay. So this is the part of the syntax. When I say to create an object for the class B, obj equal to new B, okay, and end with semicolon. So now we know how to create an object. Yeah, how to create an object. Create an object in Java. Okay. Syntax. What is the syntax says? Class name obj equal to class name user defined variable name equal to class name. Okay. There is a syntax. Okay. So the object is created based on the class which acts like a propane. Don't worry about this line. Yeah, you will get the justification. Why do we create an object? To access the class methods. To access what? To access class methods. Here you have the answer. Why the object is created? To access the class method. Very simple, guys. When I take a simple Java program, for example, if I have something like class A, okay, inside this I am taking a method something like public void test. Okay, inside this I want to print something like system dot out dot println. Okay, inside test. So, okay, and public void main string array box. So I have a class here. Inside my class I have two methods. One is the predefined method, one is the main method, second one is the user defined method. If I want to access the user defined method, okay, it is mandatory to create an object. Because definitely the main method is going to act as an entry point. Okay, all instructions inside the main method will get executed. But we have to transform the control from here to here. We have to do what? We have to transform the control to the test method. Okay, we have to transform the control to the test method. So the logic inside the test method will get executed. This will get executed. First thing is create an object. Okay, how to create an object? We have the syntax a obj equal to new year. So the moment Java finds this reference variable, so there is a reference variable obj, right? Obj is an identity. Remember, obj is an identity. Obj can see all the methods inside the class here. Let me repeat. Obj is going to act as an identity. Object is created. Obj is going to act as an identity which can able to see, which can able to visualize, or which can able to observe all the user defined methods inside the class A. Inside the class A, okay, obj can observe, obj can see all the user defined methods. In our class we have only one user defined methods. This is visible for obj. This is visible for obj, right? It is completely visible for obj. Obj can see what? It can see test method. But how to transfer the control? How to transfer the control? Okay, use this obj dot use the method name. Use the method name test. The moment you give this instruction, the control will be transmitted. The control will be transmitted to the test method, and all the instructions inside this test method will get executed. Okay. After executing these instructions, it is going to come back to the same place where the control was transferred before. Okay, we will see this. We will visualize small program. Okay, so we have this instruction, right? Okay, let me go by this program itself. I want to execute the learning Java method. Okay, I want to execute this user defined method. If I want to execute the user defined method, object creation is mandatory. Okay, let me remove this for now. Object creation is mandatory. How to create an object? Use the class name followed by any meaningful reference variable. For now, I am taking it as obj equal to new first Java program. Okay. Now obj can visualize, can able to see all the user defined methods within the class. If we have only one user defined method, this can see, but we need to access that. How to access that? It can see, but you need to transfer the control. Use this reference variable obj. Say obj dot use the name of the method. This is the name of the method along with the parameters. The moment you give this, right, now the control will be transmitted to the learning Java method. All the instructions inside the learning Java method will get executed. If I run this code, I have built my first. Okay. And don't you think that we have come across a word like something like somewhere we have seen something like reusability? You see reusability. Methods help in code reusability. Why it is so? Why methods are meant to be called as the reusability? If I just repeat this, if I repeat this statement, I am able to call the learning Java method 4 consecutive times. I am able to reuse the same method for 4 times. That is what is called as what reusability, right? So let me help in the execution. Can someone tell me instead of this, I will keep the statement very simple. Can someone tell me what would be the output if I try to execute this code?
PA.
PA, wa? What about others?
Yes.
Good, correct. PA. PA is output. Okay. Let us trace this for others. Okay, it will not take much time. Let's trace this really quick. Focus here. In reality, what will happen, right? This is always going to be the file name. This is always going to be what? The first Java program, it is always going to be the name of the file. Internally, this will be stored as class name dot Java. Okay. Internally, Eclipse will take care of compilation. You do not have to do anything. So you are using the editor, right? So Eclipse will take care whether if there is any syntactical errors or not. Okay. Compilation will be taken care by Eclipse itself. What compiler will do? It will consume the Java file. So this is the Java file. The compiler is going to consume this Java file and it performs the compilation. Okay. So compilation is a kind of looking for any errors. Okay. We humans, we make a lot of mistakes, right? We will check whether this program is syntactically correct or not. It is syntactically correct. If everything is fine without any issues, the compiler will convert this .java file to .class file. So the name of the file is going to be the class name is going to be same, first Java program, but extension is going to vary. Instead of .java, now it becomes .class file. Okay. And again, the moment so after this, what you are doing here, you are just hitting this run plus Java. You are hitting the run button, right? The moment you hit the run button, what is typically happening? You want to use the run button, JVM come into the picture. Okay, so JVM will come into the picture. JVM is Java virtual machine. JVM will consume the .class file. Okay? It will consume this .class file. So internally, it creates kind of you call it as usually in Java you call it as the main thread. Okay, main thread. Okay, which will try to find the main method. This main thread will try to try to look out for the main method inside where inside the first Java program class. Inside the first Java program class, it will try to find is there any main method or not. Okay. So we'll find the main method. So main method has been found. It is an entry point, right? It is an entry point. It has identified, oh, object has been created. Right? It has identified object has been created, and it will identify the reference variable. So obj is a reference variable. By using this reference variable, what we are trying to do, we are calling the user defined method. Learning Java is user defined method. By blindly from here, the control will be transferred to learning Java method. Second instruction, right? The control will be transferred to learning Java method, right? All the instructions inside the learning Java method will get executed, right? So now the control is where from here it's getting transferred to learning Java method. All instructions inside this method getting executed. Only one instruction is the B. In the console output is going to be B will displayed. After executing this, it is going to come back to the same place where it was transferred before. After executing this, it's going to come back to the same place. Then it will start executing the remaining instructions inside the main method. What is the remaining instruction? A is left to be executed. That's why the output is B. So this is what happening. If you just fast forward it, okay, from here, control is coming here. Okay, object creation is happening. With the reference variable, learning Java is called. This is getting executed. Coming back here, and the next instruction is here. And after this, there are no instructions. It is going to come back to the JVM. And after executing all the things, okay, this will be destroyed. So you see in the console B. Making sense? What is the purpose of object creation? Yes, no? Are we good to proceed further? Everyone? Able to follow or not? Yes. Yeah. Now we understood object creation is the purpose of object creation is to what? To transfer the control to the user defined method, right? Okay. Now let me a small task we will do one. Method. Can someone tell me what would be the output if I execute this?
ABC.
Yeah. What about others? Able to understand? You're getting this now. So object with why I'm trying this is with one object reference variable we can execute multiple methods inside the same class. You can have 100 methods, but still you can use one reference variable to execute this 100 methods. Making sense? Yes, no? One more thing, it is not like we are supposed to create only one object. For example, let me remove this. Let me remove this. Okay, so it's all about creating an identity. Okay, I'm saying first Java program A equal to new first Java, and I'm creating The first Java program. This time I'm creating B. Okay. So in this example, I have created two objects. So it will not, the code will not be broken. The idea is, here you have the variable A. This variable A can see these two methods. This variable B also can see these two user-defined methods, right? But you have created two variables here. When two objects are created, two different variables A and B. You can either use A, either use B, or you can use both. For example, I can use my A dot learning Java. When to call the learning Java method, I can use A, and to call the learning Python method, I can use B. You can create any number of objects. That's what I'm trying to say. That is the focus here. Okay, identity is created. Okay, this is an variable, right? Reference variable. But this reference variable can visualize by using this. You can access the user-defined two user-defined methods. By using this, you can access these two user-defined methods. Yet you can create any number of objects. This idea, not it is not like you can create only one object, but it is always recommended to create only one object to save the memory. The more objects you create, it will consume more memory. That discussion will happen in the future talk. Right? So now we have understood what is an object, right? What is an object is clear now. What is an object? Or object, how to create an object we have understood. Object is created to access methods. Fields we will understand later. So without creating an object, you cannot use methods. Without creating an object, you cannot use methods. Right? Now let us do a small assignment. A basic assignment we'll do now. Very simple basic assignment. Okay? So far, so in this example, right? So we have created one project, and under this project we have one package. Inside this package we have one class, right? Now this time what I want to do, okay, I want to create one project, file new Java project. Okay, the name of the project is test project, and the version I am using it as 1.8. Clicking on next, right? I'm clicking on finished. Okay, so we have you can see Java library, and you can see src. Right click on src. I'm going to create two different packages. One package is org.bike. Okay, let me take org.java. Okay. Second package is, right click on the source, new package, org.python. Okay, so I have two packages. Inside each and every package I am taking one class. Okay, here I am taking a class. The name of the class is let me take it as Java. Name of the class is Java itself. Okay, inside this package I am taking another class. Name of the class is Python. Right, so if you see, inside this Python package I have taken Python class. Inside this Java package I have taken Java class. So I have two different classes. These two different classes are under two different packages. Okay, if I run this program, you will not get to see anything because it is executing the previous one. Right click here, you will be seeing an option called run as. Okay, you will not able to see, you will not able to run it directly because there is no main method here. There is no main method here. You have to place main method either in one of the class. You can place it inside the class Python, or you can place it inside the class Java. You can choose any one class to place the main method, any one class. For the time being, I want to place the main method inside this Python class. Right, main method is here. Let me do system.out.println main. Okay, let me run this. You see main method. So now what I want to do, I want to create user defined method inside Python class. So let me say private void Python. Name of the method I'm taking it as Python method. Sum dot outer println Python. Okay, see, so I have one method here. Okay, here inside this Java class, I'm taking a similar method. Okay, I'm naming the method as Java method. I just want to say sum dot outer println Java method. Okay, if you want to, okay, let me put it. If you want to, if I want to, call this user defined method. Okay, simply what I will do, I will be creating an object, right? How I will be creating an object, class name, because this Python method is part of Python class, right? If you want to call this method, first actually look, the method is available in which class. First you need to look there. Particular method is available. I want to call this method, but this method is available in a class called Python. I need to create an object for the Python class. Python p equal to new. Okay. So by using this reference variable p dot Python method, I can able to successfully execute this logic. But my question is, I want to execute this method. I want to execute this method. Okay, there is a problem here. There is a problem here. What is the problem is, so we know that, so this method, this Java method is part of Java class. So can I just create an object for Java j equal to new Java? It's not allowing me to create. It's giving me something in red. Why it is giving me something in red? I will tell you. Let us put it in the paint first. Yeah. So there are two packages now. This is one package and this is another package. Okay. So the main method is part of main method is going to act as an entry point. It is a part of Python class, which is a part of org.python package, right? But you're trying to access a method, okay, which is part of Java class, which is part of org.java package. Okay, to make a connection, to call a method, okay, to call a method which is in different package. To call a method which is in different package. So you want to call this Java method, okay, this is the agenda. You want to call this Java method from this package. So I already said that object creation is mandatory, right? How do we create an object? Java j equal to new class name followed by variable name followed by new keyword followed by again class name brackets semicolon. Okay, but this is going to throw an error because this Java class is part of different package. You need to make a way, you need to give me a way, you need to give a connection between these two. You need to give a connection between these two. These two packages you need to give a connection. To give a connection, you will use a keyword called the import keyword. You will use what? You will use a keyword called import keyword. You will import this package. Import. You will import this package. After importing this package, now you will be able to what? You will be able to create an object for this. Okay, you are giving a way. Now the way will be created the moment you start importing the package. Okay, let us go back here. Okay, so this is a main method is part of this package. The Java class is part of this package. If you want to create an object for this class, which is part of different package, Java j equal to new Java, right? And it is giving you an error. Okay, just place the cursor here. The first suggestion is import Java org.java package. Just click there. This will be imported. As soon as it is imported, now there is a connection between these two packages. Like I have just said here, a connection will be created between these two packages. Right? And again, okay, connection is created. Connection is created. Can I able to access this Java method? So try to access this method by using the j dot Java method. Okay. You cannot access this Java method. Why? Because the access modifier is private here. Private means strictly private. Only you can able to create an object within the class. If you are trying to access a private method from outside the class, okay, this variable cannot see this. This is strictly private. Restrictions is there. Even though object is created for the Java class, right? You are trying to access this method from a different package, and the class is also different, right? In the Python class, you want to access a method of Java class. You want to access a private method of Java class. It's not possible. How do I make it possible? I will change this private to public. Okay, the moment I start changing this to public, now I will be able to access this method. If I run this code, now the output is going to be Java. Now we have understood, I hope you have understood the difference between the private and public and the private. Private means, okay, within the same class you can access that method. So the same class means, so Python p equal to new Python. Okay, so this main method is part of Python class. Python method is also part of Python class. Within the same class you can access. I can just use the variable p dot Python method. So there will be no issues even though it is private. No issues, I can access. But here the case is some completely opposite. You are creating an object for a different class and different package. Okay, to get access to the package, you are using the import keyword. To get access to the class, you are creating an object. To get access to the private method, you cannot do that because private method scope is not visible to this reference variable because it is a different class. So that's why I have changed it from private to public. Right, making sense? I will explain this with a small two different packages. I said that execution will start from the main method. So this is the main method entry point, right? So what you're doing it here, okay, you're creating an object for the Java class, Java j equal to new Java. But the Java is part of different package. The Java class is part of different package, right? A connection should be there. You need to create a connection. You need to make a connection. To make a connection, we have used what? We have used the import statement. Import this package, a connection will be created. Okay. Then what you are doing, you are calling j.java method. J.java method. You called see this j reference variable cannot see the private methods. Private methods are it is blind to private methods because this is the private method. You cannot see this from outside class, from a different class. To avoid that, we are changing this from private to public. So that public is called as what? Global access, global visibility. public. Okay, now it can see. Now this can have access to this. Now the control will be transmitted. Now the control will be transmitted to control will be transmitted to this package, and it will execute this Java method, and it will the output is going to be Java, and it will come back. So next one is object is created for the Python. So here no issues, because main method is also part of Python class, and the Python method is also part of the Python class, no matter if it's private. Within the same class you can access it private, but from a different class you cannot access that method. The access modifier is private. Okay, that's why the output is going to be what? Java Python. Right? So these things will make more sense if we start practicing. I will give you one small assignment for you. Okay, the assignment would be like I will share this assignment to your in the WhatsApp. Let me show that.